is there a business guru? You know, we have these big names out here, even ones that are still alive now, the Bezoses and the Elon Musk, but there's Jack Welch's from back in the day. But do you know the Steve Jobs story well with Apple?
Not well, but I know it.
I read the book, the Walter Isaacson book. It's a big, thick book. So I read the book, and very controversial now in the way that we approach and see leadership anymore. And, you know, he started Apple with pretty much him and Steve Wozniak, the brains behind the operation. And then Steve was the marketer and thinker and creative and visionary. Wozniak still admits to this day, everyone knows, like, he was the nice guy. Steve wasn't so much. But Wozniak still admits to this day, without Steve, Apple wouldn't have become Apple. What do we do with that? Because he wasn't a nice guy.
Well, I mean, you can look at history, and there are a lot of guys like that. I mean, there's a guy out there now who's building rocket ships and electric cars who, you know, some would say, I'm talking about Musk, you know, isn't a nice guy.
Yep.
But you can't argue that he has changed the world. I mean, I often
benefiting
wonder,
society.
I often wonder this device, like, this is going to tell you how old I am. I mean, you remember Star Trek. Maybe you don't. We're talking pre-Star Wars, right? Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Like, is this...
Beam me up, Scotty, right? Come on.
Right. Is this the communicator? Like the Gene Roddenberry, you know, when they flipped the thing up? What came first, you know? Did Woz and Jobs watch those shows as kids and say, I'm going to create something like that? Because that's essentially what this is. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a place for that sheer determination that can come across as being a bad guy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think those people they're massively misunderstood. And I'm not saying their approach is perfect, but they're misunderstood because what I believe from reading the books and some of the things that I feel inside is that some people just have an inner determination and a commitment to achieve an outcome at all cost that doesn't exist in most.
I would agree. That's not how I, you know, went through my career, and but I have a lot of admiration for those people who were game changers, you know. And you're right. There's a list in our lifetime and 3 lifetimes ago, and there'll be those people that come, you know, in the next millennia that are game changers.
Yeah. I think what we should maintain in society, I think that we should just understand, like, hey guys, their lives are not easy either. They have weights on their shoulders and pressures that we can think we can comprehend, and maybe we have a little bit of it, but they live lives, what they wake up to. They choose it every day, but they have so much responsibility that I don't think there's probably not many of us that can really comprehend. And they continue to get up every day and to try to push their thing forward. And the benefits that I receive from having an iPhone like you, that's tremendous.
Right.
It's incredible how better my life is because of that device.
Yeah. And I have to say, I have this story. There's been a couple people in my life who are like way smarter than me. Like and you see that. There's a guy, I tell this story. You know, I was sitting in a meeting and he was espousing all of this information. And like 2 days later, I finally caught up to his intellect. And I was like, oh, that's what he was talking about. And people like that. And that's who Steve Jobs is, and Wozniak, and, you know, you can say Musk, and people like that are just brilliant. Einstein, right? And, you know, whether they're in business or Nobel Prize winners. And you're like, I just can't sort of, how can I say, it takes me a while to catch up to those kind of people.